Hi and welcome to this video about internet marketing strategies that work. Internet marketing needs strategies, otherwise you can just wander around aimlessly thinking you're doing the right things when you're not. Some internet marketing strategies are evergreen, others come and go, so we're going to look at what strategies you should use to make sure that the time you spend is well spent. And let's start with SEO, search engine optimization. It's basic to almost all internet marketing that you do. In the early days of the web, it could be spammy, but that rarely works anymore, and if it does, it's usually short-term. If you're using WordPress, install a plugin such as Yoast's WordPress SEO. That's pretty much the default one. It's kept up to date. You're reminded about that with seemingly countless revisions that you nag to download, and it offers lots and lots of help to keep you on track. The traffic light coloured content analysis section is more than enough to optimize your pages in all but the most competitive niches. And especially when you're beginning, just take the time to follow through what it suggests, follow it, and then adjust. It really does work. If you're not using WordPress, take the time to find a simple, up-to-date SEO guide, read it, and again, follow the suggestions that you get given, but make sure it's up to date. There's a lot of junk around still that says, oh, do this, that, and the other. Generally speaking, if it seems spammy, don't do it. Next up is content for your website, and content is what keeps the web going. It seems like the internet's got an almost insatiable appetite for content, and that means you need to keep creating content for your website. It's a bit like being on a treadmill or running on a hamster wheel, but hopefully a bit more productive. And generally speaking, the quality of your content counts. Google's got so many pages it can analyze. It knows when you're writing good stuff and when you're just regurgitating junk or writing complete rubbish. And sure, it doesn't read every word, but its computers know what a well-structured sentence is and what they need to check for to determine whether or not your content is worth showing in the search results. And they do that in a number of different ways, but just basically rule of thumb, good content. You don't have to write A-grade English, but you do need to be able to string words together in such a way that they make sense and they read well. If you create content in much the same way as you'd write an email or a short message to a friend, you're going to be fine. If you decide to do a dictionary search, or worse still a thesaurus search, to come up with some seemingly impressive words that you don't really understand, that's just a dumb move. So just write as if you're talking to just one other person. Visualize them. Visualize the person who'll be reading the content that you actually create. And especially for the first few pages and pieces, read it back once you've written it and before you press the publish button. Something I still do nowadays, because it works. Ideally read it out loud, as that's where you pick up the places that you just haven't written it right, that don't read well, or that just don't make sense. Wherever you stumble is pretty much where you need to tweak it just slightly. Next strategy is contributing to discussions, and that's discussions that take place all over the web. Used to be forums, websites like YouTube, where the discussion can be one-sided. If I'm just talking at you, or it can continue in the comments section. It can happen in forums, places like Facebook and Twitter, and on specialized sites like Quora and Yahoo Answers and lots of other ones. You don't have to be a world expert to contribute to a discussion, but it does help if you know something about the subject. There's nothing worse than someone who chimes into a discussion with some meaningless gibberish in the hope of getting just some attention or increasing their post count or some other underhand motive. The best rule of thumb, much like your mother probably told you, if you've got nothing good to say, don't say anything at all. But equally, there's no point in hiding away if you do know something about the subject. Take a bit of time to read the original questions. So many people don't do that. What they tend to do is they do what so many help desks do, and they just answer the question they would have preferred you to ask in the first place. But take the time to read the original question and then contribute something useful. It will be noticed, partly because you're probably one of the few people that do that in anything but the most basic topics. Then treat discussions in the same way that you would as if you're talking to the person face to face, and for most people that means most of the time, don't start an argument. Okay, there's Twitter trolls and things like that, but don't do that. Online, it's much better to err on the side of being understated, but it doesn't mean you can't have an opinion, even if that opinion isn't mainstream. It just means you shouldn't effectively push someone into a corner and try and fight them. Just be aware it's easy for things to get misconstrued online, so choose your words carefully, and as with your own website content, take the time to read through your reply before you send it. A few politicians have learnt that to their cost. Make sure that you don't join them. Videos. And you've only got to check out the search results for almost any query to spot that videos crop up regularly in the results. And that's not just because Google and YouTube, that's kind of chicken and egg, that one. It's basically because people like watching videos. Much the same way as the majority of people prefer watching television to listening to the radio or reading a book. And I know it's a bit rich coming from someone like me who prefers to have written content, but this is a video. But videos are definitely a big section of the online market. And if you don't include them as part of your internet marketing strategies, then you really are missing out on a large section of the market, and it's an ever-increasing section. Your videos don't need to be fancy. Most of the ones I create are slideshow styles, like this one with me reading the slides, but they should contain good quality content so your viewer's informed. There's nothing worse than watching a video where it's apparent the person didn't take the time to check or rehearse what they're talking about. Okay, a few ums and ers, they're fine. But watching someone's mouse cursor hunt around the screen before they eventually click the most obvious link in existence just isn't fun. And nor is watching someone laboriously type, one finger typing at best, a search phrase that's already completed in a drop-down list that they notice if they weren't concentrating so hard on recording the video. And you've seen videos like that where they do A, B, where do I find that letter, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you respect your viewers' time. You'll be rewarded with longer viewing times, which help you in YouTube, and probably more subscribers to your channel, and a higher chance that your viewers will be more inclined to click the links you've asked them to click. There's links below this video. Yes, subtle. So it's win-win, providing you treat your viewers with respect. And then home in on your strengths, and that's possibly the most important strategy. It's the one that's almost always ignored. Your strengths really are your strong points, and that means you need to keep with them. So play to your strengths, home in on them. That way you'll be following a direction that you enjoy, and that will come out in the content you create and how you create it. And you already instinctively know that. If someone's really enthusiastic about a subject, it's pretty difficult to ignore their enthusiasm. Okay, they might be over-enthusiastic, there's a fine balance there, but most of the time, if they're enthusiastic, that enthusiasm spills over. So follow that same direction in your internet marketing, and your enthusiasm will spill over into all the content you create and be picked up by the people who read and watch what you have to say. Then, almost as important as anything else, get help when you need it, because you're not alone. It may seem that way, but you're not. There's an almost 100% chance that whatever challenges you're facing in your internet marketing and elsewhere have been faced and overcome by thousands of people before you. Yeah, that's a large figure, because it's almost certainly true in almost everything. Even if it seems as though the problems are unique to you, especially when the searches you use to try to find the answers stubbornly refuse to cooperate, but there's logic there somewhere. And there are a few ways you can get help, and they depend to a very large extent on your personality and how much time you're prepared to spend searching for the answers and filtering the less good strategies you encounter from the ones that actually work in the real world. And there's quite a difference there. One way that you can get help is to coach yourself, and that's not as difficult as it sounds. And to be honest, you've been doing it almost all your life in various areas. You got a bit of help learning how to walk, but not a lot. And almost everything else you've done, you've had teachers, but you've done most of the work. And if you use a program like the one in the description below this video as the basis, you can fast track yourself, or at the very least drill down to where you need to be to get more help. It's a voyage of discovery. It always is. That's life, which is part of the fun of it. Another option, join a specialist program such as my affiliate marketing training. Again, there's a link below this video. That'll fast track you, and it offers the added benefit of individual help as and when you need it. Affiliate marketing, yeah, it's where I think you should start if you haven't already started, because there's just so much that you can do in affiliate marketing that's quicker. It jumpstarts a lot of things. And another thing you could do is just go the whole hog and get one-on-one help tailored to your exact needs. And sure, that's not for everyone, and I'd strongly suggest you go through at least one or two of the other options beforehand so you know more about yourself and where you want to go. You'll get more value out of one-on-one help. But whatever path you decide, make sure you dedicate enough of your time and energy so that you've got a better idea of how it can work for you. So, go for it. Follow some of these internet marketing strategies, follow some of the links below, but do it, because that's most of the battle. Okay, thanks for watching. As I said, a few links below the video if you want some help. Okay, thanks very much.